Everyone. This is Ajay Almeida from Campus Credential, and today I'm going to discuss with you the Infosys recruitment pattern. What's the pattern for 2021? That is, what's the pattern for people who are going to apply for campus interviews? So this is an on-campus drive, and it is for the year 2021, which means recruitment will happen right now, and in 2021 you will start working for an amazing company built on integrity, Infosys. So let's take a look at the process, the profile, the syllabus, and so that we are very clear as to what should be the steps taken to ace and enter into Infosys. Let me tell you one thing, when you work for a company like Infosys, you can go places. So let's go ahead. So what's the profile that Infosys is recruiting for? Infosys is recruiting for systems engineer and also for power programmer. So these are the two positions they are recruiting for. The package is around 3.5 lakhs per annum. That's an average. It can go up also. 3.5 lakhs per annum. That's minimum. Okay. It can definitely go up depending on your performance in the interviews. When will it happen? Mid-September to October 2020. So it's going to begin in a few days now, and it will continue till October 2020. Maybe around 1 month gap. They will have around a month to complete the process. Now, these 3 points are very important. If you have active backlogs, sorry guys, you can't enter into this profile of Infosys. So they do not entertain any active backlogs. And these are the two qualities that they are looking for in individuals. So make sure that once you ace your written tests and once you enter into the interview, make sure that you have a yes for these two questions. Willing to relocate. They are definitely looking for candidates who are willing to relocate. That's because they have their offices all around and they would definitely want people who are flexible in that aspect. Second thing is they would want people who are flexible with working with multiple technologies, and that should be okay with everyone actually, because when you work with multiple technologies, your expertise and domain knowledge increases. It greatly increases. And so they are definitely looking for people who are willing to be uncomfortable. Okay, that is moving into your growth zones of multiple technologies. Make sure your answer is a resounding yes to these two questions. What's the eligibility criteria? Minimum 60% in SSC, minimum 60% in HSC, and diploma. If you have done diploma, then minimum 68%, and your pointers should be, your average should be around 6 or plus, more than 6. Okay, in your B or B Tech. Definitely, like I told you, no backlogs will be entertained. What's the pattern of the exam? Let's take a look. The process is very simple. You have a return test which has 3 sections. Now that's online definitely. 3 sections in the return test. You have arithmetic reasoning plus analytical thinking. There will be 15 questions and the time allotted is 25 minutes. 15 questions and 25 minutes for arithmetic and analytical thinking. Then there is math, reasoning and logical thinking. Questions allotted are 10 and time is 35 minutes. You'll have 35 minutes for these 10 questions. And finally, the chunk is in verbal ability, wherein you have a whopping 40 questions. 40 questions. And the time allotted is 35 minutes. So definitely guys, from this you must have realized one thing. To really go ahead and ace that test, you have to be strong in your verbal. Strong. There is no doubt about it, because 40 questions, that's a lot. Time allotted is 35 minutes, which means less than a minute per question. So let's take a look at what are the subjects or where do they ask questions from. What's the syllabus? So for arithmetic reasoning and analytical thinking, Infosys has 4 areas that they'll ask you questions on: data sufficiency, data interpretation, logical deduction, and syllogism. Now, many times I've seen that students have a problem with syllogism. Make sure you master this, because definitely they're going to ask you questions on this. So you have data sufficiency. interpretation, logical deduction and syllogism for the arithmetic reasoning and analytical thinking aspect. What about math reasoning and logical thinking? You have a lot of topics over here. You have data arrangement, crypt arithmetic, number series, time and work, time, speed, distance, PNC, probability, profit and loss, partnerships, averages, algebra, ratio and proportion. Now what is the level of questions that they'll ask? Anywhere between intermediate to difficult. Do not expect easy questions over here. Anywhere between intermediate to difficult. That's the level of questions that you can expect. So you really have to be good at these topics. Now, what about verbal? I know there are 40 questions, but the topics are not all too many. That should actually give you a relief. So you have a chunk of questions coming from reading comprehension or RC. So please, you have to master that. And here the difficulty level, the level is definitely difficult, not even intermediate. Parajumbles, you can expect even easy to intermediate. And error spotting or sentence correction, sentence completion, vocab, that is contextual. What do I mean by contextual vocab? There'll be a sentence that is given to you. There'll be a blank and there are 4 options. Depending on the context of that statement, you're supposed to fill in the right word or the right synonym or the right antonym. Okay, that's contextual vocab. And finally, critical reasoning, wherein there are statements, arguments, assumptions, cause and effect, action orientedness. So all these things will be there in critical reasoning as well. So you have RC. Please, what I would suggest is if you master your RC and parajumbles, the remaining things depend on your grammar. So RC and parajumble you can start practicing together. The strategy would be 5 RCs and 10 parajumbles daily. If you are able to at least that's a minimum I'm speaking about. If you are able to solve 5 RCs and 10 parajumbles on a daily basis, that should really help you. All right, and parajumbles can be 2 types. You can have totally random parajumbles wherein you have to rearrange 4 or 5 sentences that are given to you in the logical order, or you may be given introduction and conclusion and then you just have to rearrange the sentences in between. They can ask from any of these two. Sentence correction and error spotting, make sure that you have a variety of practice on this. You can do sentence correction, error spotting and sentence completion together. You can practice these two together. 10 questions of each daily will really help. Vocab, contextual, this has to be done separately. And critical reasoning, make sure you solve at least 15 to 20 questions on a daily basis to sharpen your critical reasoning in verbal aspect. That should really help you. So that's about it, guys, regarding Infosys. All the best. Go ahead and conquer. This is Ajay Almeida. I'm the lead facilitator at Campus Credential. My domain expertise is in verbal and presentation and soft skills. So it was great interacting with you guys over here. Make sure to make the most of this video. Please go ahead and practice a lot. That's the only way to go ahead. I've already given you the structure for verbal, what has to be done. Now it's all up to you. Thank you, everyone.